Hi, everyone. Welcome to the CURES Show. This is where we explore the cutting edge of wellness. So what does science really say about the best oil for our body? So many oils out there, it can get really confusing. Well, today, on St. Patrick's Day, if you're watching this on YouTube or streaming, you can see I'm wearing green. And I'm here to tell you that our naturopathic doctor says green oil is the luckiest for our bodies, and that is Dr. Artemis Morris, the founder of the Artemis Wellness Center in Milford, Connecticut. Thank you for being with us in your green as well.
Thank you, Kara. We have to honor the oil today in our green.
Yes, yes. So it does get confusing out there with so many oils, but you're saying the studies show really olive oil can lower blood pressure, decrease heart disease, even relieve pain. So why is that one so good for us?
That is a wonderful question, and it is very confusing because there is a lot of misinformation out there. And even, when I was teaching the masters in nutrition, there were a lot of people coming from other programs, masters in nutrition programs in nutrition, that were confused about it. So the general public, I can understand just how confusing it is because there's a lot of misinformation. But really, if we're looking at the scientific evidence, which also includes traditional use of which oils have been around a long time for health benefits and are part of the healthiest diet in the world, the Mediterranean diet, olive oil, hands down, is the winner. And there's also new research coming out about how safe it is for cooking methods, and we can talk more about that. But extra virgin olive oil is the healthiest and the best oil according to scientific research, and has a number of health benefits that
Okay.
you talk.
Yeah, so, well, let's talk about this. How many what's the dosage if you're using it? I know because we worked together for a long time. I know you actually like to take shots of olive oil. Starbucks is talking about putting olive oil in coffee. So how should we be having this?
That is a wonderful question. And so it really depends on the health benefits. And the thing I love about extra virgin olive oil, so you want to start with the basics. Like whenever you're choosing an oil, you want to start with, what am I using it for? And storage and quality are huge issues. We talked about this in relationship to supplements. And, it's the same thing with food as it is with oil. So you want to start with the basics of like, do I have a good quality product? Because you won't get any of the health benefits if you don't have a good quality product. And there are a number of resources, including one of the books from a friend of mine on, how to become an olive oil basically home tester, olive oil truth in your kitchen. But really the best way to tell is by tasting it. But going back to your question, in terms of health benefits, so number one, we want to know how to judge a good quality olive oil. It should be extra virgin, and that is something that is deemed by the Olive Oil Council, and that will have higher antioxidants. And that becomes important because the health benefits of extra virgin olive oil are related to what it contains: monounsaturated fatty acids, mostly oleic acid. And it also has a number of antioxidants. And even the European Health Commission has found that there are certain health claims in Europe that olive oil is consistent with having, and including lowering LDL oxidation, helping with cholesterol, and helping lower risk of heart disease. So quality and dose are both very important. And then just to run through the health benefits, if you're using extra virgin olive oil to lower blood pressure, you want to have at least 2 tablespoons a day. And you can have that on a salad. You can definitely go for the shot of extra virgin olive oil. You can also, and we could do that. We could do that now, but you want to really make sure you can taste the health benefits of it. And you can taste it because it has this burning in the back of your throat. And we have done another segment on olive oil. I think it was last year. So there might be something, someone can look back and see that one as well.
Yeah, and I
But
know that because this is, I just want to bring it up in case you didn't get that one, that I've done this before. After that interview, you told me about it should, burn the back of your throat a little bit. And I noticed mine did, so I was happy. Okay, that's good. But I was actually traveling and I didn't have any Advil on me. And I had a really bad sore throat. And I remember you telling me, it works like Advil. So I was gargling with olive oil that they gave me at the restaurant in the hotel. I said, do you have extra virgin olive oil? So I gargled with it. And I have to say, it worked. Like my sore throat went away.
I love it, Kara. You are my favorite. That's
I'm like, is this
amazing.
going to
So
work?
you're using it in the right way. And just think about, like the ibuprofen, all the medications we have today, that's only been around for less than 200 years. So you're doing what, our grandmothers, great grandmothers, did. So thank you for sharing that. And it is scientifically true because one of the researchers at the Monash Institute, they found that extra virgin olive oil has a antioxidant in it called oleocanthal. And the way they discovered that is that, the researcher was researching Advil and looking at how the health benefits of it were bitter, like when they tasted it, trying to put it into something that people could consume. And then he noticed that the same attributes were found in extra virgin olive oil. So there is an anti-inflammatory, anti-pain, like a pain reliever in the olive oil. And you just shared that it really helps. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Although I got to tell you, if my teenage daughter is complaining of cramps, she's going to ask me for the Advil and not want to take the shot of olive oil. But I that's a whole other conversation. But the point is it reduces inflammation. So we should be having this not just because it's a salad dressing, but olive oil is something that actually changes our health.
Yes. So, in terms of choosing the healthiest oil, you want to choose extra virgin olive oil, and you could use that, like as shots to at least 2 tablespoons a day when you're looking at lowering blood pressure. For Alzheimer's dementia, some of the research on that shows that 6 tablespoons a day is even better. So once you have a good quality, you can just use it in cooking too. There's also research on it in terms of health benefits for lowering insulin resistance, helping with diabetes. It does not make you gain weight. It actually helps you lose weight because it has what's called thermogenic properties. So it helps with metabolism. It also can be really helpful for conditions like polycystic ovarian syndrome and pain, and generally any condition that relates to inflammation. It'll lower the risk. Heart disease. So in terms of using it, the other issue is how to use it in cooking, because it used to be, there's a myth, right? I don't know if many of you out there might have.
A lot of people still talk about this, and I'll say that even on the show on Great Day Connecticut, not particularly this show because I know we have a lot of naturopathic doctors who tend to have the olive oil research, but there are still a lot of nutritionists and others who will say, or chefs who just want the food to taste good, and they'll say, don't use olive oil here because it's going to burn too much. We need you to use canola oil because you're not going to get this effect, like you're making cutlets and that kind of thing. And I have noticed myself, and maybe I'm just not as good of a Greek cook like you, that I do, if I'm not careful, I can make it too hot and I'll burn things with olive oil. But to talk about that, why people believe you can't really go high heat with it.
Right. So I'm glad we're talking about this because, as you mentioned, it is a myth that's been perpetuated by people in different industries. And Yale has an olive oil research center, and I'm working with them to do some pilot studies. And the information's out there. You look at any olive oil, the Olive Oil Council, Women in Olive Oil. The truth is out there. And it's found in this book as well, and MDR. So there's the legit organizations on olive oil. We all know the truth, and so we do have some education yet to do on the myth of olive oil being one that you can't cook or fry with. Now, when it comes to taste, that's a personal thing, but when it comes to health benefits, extra virgin olive oil is the best oil to cook with for health benefits. And we have a lot of scientific evidence for that. And it's funny, Kara, too, because like growing up, my mom, of course, my mom's Greek, from Crete, which has the highest consumption of olive oil in the world. And she would fry popcorn in the pan with olive oil because that's what we had. And every once in a while it would go on fire. So I have to say there is a limit to the temperature.
Be
Um,
careful. Okay. I do use it though. Like I've had, because of you and because it's really the only oil I have in my house anymore. And because, it's just simple. I'm not a huge baker, so I don't have a lot of the other stuff. So I put it in, cake mixes or things when my kids want something that calls for oil. I just put the olive oil in there or pancakes. I can't tell a difference. Would you say we should just be baking with it as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. If you want to get maximal health benefits from your food, if you want to create more nutrient density in your food and have all those cardiovascular, diabetes, and lower inflammation benefits, it's not only a good idea to use olive oil, but it's a good idea because it's replacing the oils that can cause inflammation. And in terms of cooking with it, so olive oil, it's a myth that olive oil has a low smoke point. It's actually, its smoke point is around 400 and 410 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about around 200 degrees Celsius. So that idea has been disproven. But here, this is the kicker. There was a study that came out last year, and there's multiple studies supporting this, that showed the smoke point is really not what we need to be looking at when we look at health benefits of olive oil. Because when we cook with an oil, what really counts is the oxidation of the fats. It's called free fatty acid oxidation. And in these studies, what they're finding is compared to other oils, sunflower, canola, soy, it's not only a better profile, like extra virgin olive oil has higher antioxidants to start with, but when you cook with it, whether you're frying, whether you're sautéing, whether you're boiling, whether you're putting it in baked goods, what happens is the oil in extra virgin olive oil, it is less prone to degradation of its antioxidants. So you're going to retain the antioxidant profile. And it's also going to help retain the nutrients of the foods that you're frying in. So in our Mediterranean detox program that we do seasonally, and I have to thank my mom for learning this. Let's give credit where credit is due to the ancestors.
Okay.
French fries are a part of the Mediterranean diet. And actually, if you're
Ooh.
going to fry French fries, you want to use extra virgin olive oil because extra virgin olive oil starts with a higher antioxidant content to start. And then once you fry, that's the fatty acid oxidation. You're actually going to end up with more antioxidants, and that coating of the French fries, I'll use some organic potatoes, is going to actually help you retain the benefits of the food that you're frying with.
Okay, just for us inexperienced non-Greek cooks, you need a fire extinguisher, or do we have to be careful? I just want to make sure people.
In general, that's a good idea.
Okay, but I want to go back to fat. Okay, I'm working with a trainer right now. I'm losing some weight, and it's good. And I'll tell you that, and I love. He's come on the show before, Joe Carabasi. You'll see him on Great Day, Connecticut, and he runs Defined Mind Body Whole Wellness Center in Glastonbury. Now, he's a trainer who actually doesn't just worry about working out, but the really clean food. And in his 6-week weight loss challenge, there's no olive oil. We're not allowed olive oil. We're only allowed avocado oil because it has like nothing. No, like you just spray. And I know that's because he's trying to keep calories down. But can we talk about, like, is there too much of a good thing? A lot of us are trying to lose weight. And, I guess if you're using a food tracking app, you can't deny that like a couple tablespoons of olive oil will add up on the calorie part.
Right. And so this is where there's a myth that calories and exercise alone help you lose weight. That is absolutely has been disproven, as anyone out there knows who thought that they would lose weight just by exercising
Right.
and eating less. And I love that you mentioned that. And I love the work that you're doing, and much respect to your trainer. However, it's another indication that we have a lot more education to do in nutrition. And, as a naturopathic physician, we are the only general practice trained physicians that learn about nutrition throughout medical school, and that's why I went this route. So we really have some more education to do, because avocado oil does not compare to olive oil, and avocado oil has no benefits in thermogenesis. So extra virgin olive oil actually has benefits in helping your metabolism.
Uh-huh.
So the calories, calories are just it's basically where they look at how much energy is produced by this food. Now, we know that our microbiome, our gut bacteria, plays a major role in whatever foods we take in, how those are utilized by our body for weight loss, for metabolism, for blood sugar regulation. It goes above and beyond that. So, I would love to talk to any practitioner as well that wants to know information about extra virgin olive oil and the truth about it, because, like I said, everyone who is in the industry of olive oil, we know this to be true. So we really need to help educate others. And what you're doing, Kara, is bringing this information out. So we can all put the myth to rest,
Yeah.
once and for all, maybe, that the extra virgin olive oil is the healthiest oil to use.
Yeah.
You can fry with it, you can cook with it. It does not make you gain weight. It actually helps with weight loss, and it helps with detoxification, which is tied into weight loss, especially with the toxins we have in our system. And that's why it's the Mediterranean detox program that we do seasonally, because the toxins play another role in metabolism.
So let's talk a little bit about, is there too much of a good thing? I want to stay on the weight loss thing for a little bit, because I know people are right here going, all right, but I'm worried and I'm supposed to be tracking. And I have noticed, when I track my food, I'm more aware. And I will say no to things, and I realize, oh, well, that was really adding up. So is there too much of a good thing, meaning that we're still going to, if you're trying to be in a calorie deficit, which I know you would say it's not all about calories, but it also means we can't just go out and eat whatever we want if we're trying to lose, right? So what would be a good guidance for that? I mean, even when I've done your plan and worked with your dietitian, olive oil is definitely on the plan, but there's some limits of what I can do if I'm trying to lose.
Yes, and these are such great points, Kara, because so let's talk about fat and calories for a minute too. And then, first I want to talk a minute about what's the point of weight loss? What's the point of lowering our cholesterol? What's the point of having our blood sugar regulated? The point is, you want to look good, that's one thing, and I honor that. But the point from a health standpoint is to lower your risk of heart disease, diabetes, lower your weight to help you live a longer and a healthier life. So if we are consuming food and calories and on a diet long term, short term, we want to do what we need to do to jumpstart things. So, but long term, if, we really need to think about what is our long term plan for our diet to actually lead to the benefits that we see in the Lionheart study, where people lived, 20% longer, in Icaria, where we reversed cancer, where we're able to reverse heart disease, we're able to reverse diabetes. Like, this is some of the research that's out there on the longevity diet, which includes the Mediterranean diet. So I want to make a really important point there about,
Yes.
take a moment. We should all take a moment to think about, why are we doing what we're doing? And we can lose sight of that, especially in conventional medicine. You can lose sight of what you're doing. And extra virgin olive oil lowers oxidation, lowers the LDL oxidation, which is actually more the cause of heart disease than LDL levels being high. It also lowers the inflammation that's the cause of heart disease. It lowers blood pressure, so it lowers the risk factors, as well as decreasing inflammation, which is part of that process.
Okay.
And so with weight loss, it's the same thing. So that's one piece there, but I also want to honor the piece that you were talking about, in terms of fats. Let's talk about cravings. So, and do you want to share with me some of your craving? I mean, if you want,
Well,
I know what I
always
crave.
crave chocolate, but fortunately I can have dark chocolate and that's okay. Although I know I can't have as much as I want of it. Like, sometimes I will have it and then you're like, I know a little square in the green tea is my traditional afternoon snack, and it satisfies my sweet tooth, so I don't go eat the chocolate chip cookies or the pie if I'm trying to lose weight. However, I know I can't have the whole bar. So I think there's where people need to know, and I know so many people will be so healthy. They're like eating tons of fruits and vegetables and this and that, but maybe not losing like they want to. And so I guess I want to say that, can we get a little guidance there? Because even when I've worked with your dietitian, it's about limiting some of the starchy vegetables. It's about limiting too many fats. I mean, there is a too many, that we still have to be aware, I guess, of what we're intaking.
Yes, and so with the craving, the piece there is what we know in weight loss research and in teaching nutrition. There are certain books that I had my students read, like The End to Overeating by Kessler, and we know the enemies to food cravings and addictions and the things that help help to break that pattern of cravings is fat is a major part of it, and fat has the highest amount of calories. So if we
Yeah.
want like the most bang for our buck in terms of nutrients, macronutrients, fat is it. And fats, when we have fats, it actually, reduces our cravings if we have good fats.
Yeah.
And this is why the Mediterranean diet, the healthiest diet in the world, that lowers risk of heart disease, diabetes, Alzheimer's, inflammation, pain, like blah blah blah, even depression, is research on that. The fats, we want to consume good fats. And what that will do is reduce our cravings for fats later on because you can't fool your body.
Right.
Your body's going to know if you're not having enough good fats,
And
and it's
that's
going to
really
know if you're having
missing, right? In the American diet, I think I read the number one thing missing from the traditional American diet would be healthy fat. So we're talking, for those who are like, what's a healthy fat? I'm thinking of my brother, Stuart Sutherland, like, well, what's everything? Okay, you're talking about nuts, seeds, olive oil, avocados, things like that, that have fat, but they're natural fats.
Yes. So this is, a really important part of a healthy diet, and a diet that helps with weight loss is includes the essential fatty acids. We talked about that last time. And the essential fatty acids are like the wild caught fish, the walnuts, etc. But we also have these monounsaturated fats, which are exactly like you said, the nuts, the seeds, and extra virgin olive oil. So using extra virgin olive oil in a healthy dietary plan for reducing heart disease, for reducing, risk of diabetes, for weight loss, you actually have a benefit in terms of health in and of itself. You can cook with it, you can fry with it, you can consume it. It helps with thermogenesis, but you're also reducing your cravings
Yeah.
of other fats. And that's the thing I've seen. So, like, maybe someday we can sit around and do shots of extra virgin olive oil. And, when I did this in class, in my classes, people get a little warm, so you have that pain benefits and you get a little warm. So we do know that this is the best oil also for weight loss.
So how much?
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're Greek, you're going to do like, this bottle's gone in a week. But if you're, that's my mom. She says the olive oil disappears whenever she comes to my house. But, in general, at least 2 tablespoons a day, and that's what we're doing in the pilot study. 2 tablespoons a day has been shown to lower the blood pressure and help with insulin resistance. So at least 2 tablespoons a day in like a salad. You can do shots of it. You can, saute your onions in it. And actually, another piece about the olive oil too that I'd like to bring up if we have time
Yeah.
is how olive oil affects other foods when you cook with it. But at least 2 to 6 tablespoons a day is a very good amount. And that 6 tablespoons is more for helping with reduce the risk of dementia, Alzheimer's. In clinical and in vitro studies, they've shown that extra virgin olive oil protects the blood-brain barrier. So it
Okay.
protects inflammation against Alzheimer's, dementia as well. So that's an important dose to remember.
I want you, I know it's very important for you to get out some of your favorite brands. I want to talk both for the people who are not going to order online or don't have a lot of time or whatever. If you're going to Whole Foods and I know you said there are some good things there. We're looking for a good quality or extra virgin olive oil. Does it need to be organic? And then what are some of your favorite resources if you are going to go that extra mile and maybe order some from a special place?
Yes. So there are a lot of wonderful brands out there. And the best way to choose extra virgin olive oil, let's start with point number one. It should say extra virgin olive oil. Just start there. So when you're
Okay.
going through the aisle, just go to extra virgin olive oil because that's going to have the higher antioxidants that if you cook and fry and all these health benefits we're talking about, they do not apply to any non extra virgin olive oil. So start with extra virgin olive oil. It's going to help retain the antioxidants. Um, and then from there, you want to look at the bottle. How is it being stored? Is it sitting on like the shelf in a clear bottle? Then you're going to think about the enemies of olive oil, the things that degrade it. And this also applies to avocado oil, sunflower oil, canola oil, so any of the oils you're using instead of olive oil are going to be toxic, are going to have oxidation, are going to actually contribute to heart disease and inflammation and weight gain, because inflammation is another part of weight gain.
Yeah.
In addition to toxins, if they are sitting in a plastic bottle, there's the endocrine disruptors right there, and on the shelf, exposed to heat and has some dust on it. That's another sign.
Okay. No dusty olive oil. You have an acronym, HALT. So we should look,
right.
heat, air, light, temp. So it should be in a darker bottle?
Yes, and get the one that is, so you don't want to get the one that has the oil on the bottom or has not been refined, because that's going to increase oxidation. So David Newman has written a really great book about how to become a home olive oil tester, and that's more important than the brands, because you can get a great quality brand, but if you sit it right next to the high heat, and it's exposed to light, and you don't use it within a certain period of time, 6 months to a year, in a cool, dark place, then that good quality olive oil turns into something that's causing inflammation.
So we shouldn't.
I do.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. I thought you were done for a second. But we shouldn't put it, like sometimes we have pretty bottles. People pour them into the clear bottles and set them out to look pretty on their counters next to lemons. We shouldn't do that. Don't put them in the clear bottles. Keep them in the dark ones they come in, and stick it in the pantry.
Yes. Clear, dark, like clear is going to, unless it's in a cool, dark place, clear bottles are going to be more prone to the heat, the air, the light, the temperature, especially. So absolutely. I sometimes do transfer it, but if you use it within a short period of time, it's okay.
Okay, we have only 90 seconds left, so I want to make sure that people know that we have a resource for you. Again, we're speaking with Dr. Artemis Morris, and you are the founder of the Artemis Wellness Center in Milford, Connecticut. And every season change, you run a detox, the Mediterranean detox. Don't worry, you get to eat. You eat lovely food, including olive oil and olives and all kinds of Mediterranean food. But if you want to do this, it's only 8 days, and you guide people through this. It's artemiswellnesscenter.com/Mediterranean Detox Program. I know the next one, if you're watching this and listening to this on St. Patrick's Day of 2023, it's coming up on April 1st, but you do it every season. So this is a great way that for someone to take the next extra step, they can reach out to you, and you can even educate them more. Before I let you go, what are maybe the oils we should never eat, if there's such a thing?
Oh, well, anything that is a hydrogenated fat is a big no-no. And we go into this a lot more through the Mediterranean Detox Program. But yeah, no hydrogenated fats. And yes to extra virgin olive oil, the green oil, in honor of St. Patrick's today.
Okay. All right. So, no Crisco, people. All right. Despite what the Southern chefs say. All right. So thank you, Dr. Artemis Morris. I know you also have a lot of information on your website, and you can follow Dr. Morris at Dr. Artemis on social media. So thanks for being with us and sharing your knowledge about olive oil. Can't wait to hear about the Yale study when it's done.
Thank you so much, Kara. Enjoy.
Thank you. And thank you all for being here. You can follow me on social media at Kara Sundlin for more information. We hope that you'll have a great day and be well.